Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started. Hi everyone, welcome to today's event. I'm Laura Dillon from MS Dynamics World, and we're here today for a session all about parcel and LTL shipping made easy for Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. Our presenters today are Mehmet Pamuk and Jason Chung with NMB Solutions, and Steve Williamson with BlueJay Solutions, and it's great to have them here with us today. So as we get started, please know that we do welcome your questions. You can enter them in at any time during the presentation in the Q&A box that you'll see on the right side of your event window. And I know that our presenters will be leaving time to answer them as many of them as they can. So without any further delay, I'm going to hand things off to Jason to get us started.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, Laura, for the introduction. Thanks to everyone for participating. All right, so let's just get started here. I just got a couple of slides here I want to go through to kind of talk about who we are, what we do, and what's the product. And after that, we'll just dive directly into some demo material. So let's just get started here. So today's presentation is for BlueJay Parcel for D365 Finance and Operations, presented by NMB Solutions, hosted by MS Dynamics World. If you hadn't noticed yet, we are going to be in AXUG Summit in Phoenix, Arizona from October 15th to 18th. If you don't know what that is, I encourage you to look it up. If you are attending, we do encourage you to visit us at our booth, which is 444. So really excited to see you guys there. Also, if you are in Phoenix during those dates, we are hosting a partner showcase, which is on Wednesday, October 17th from 10 to 11 a.m. Location is 121B. The event ID is APS25, Simplifying Shipping with BlueJay Parcel. You can find that on the Summit app or on the website if you don't use the app. So hopefully what we get to show you guys today after this 1 hour session is how well the BlueJay platform is BlueJay Parcel platform is fully integrated to D365 Finance and Operation as an enterprise class multi-carrier platform. And through that integration, we provide efficient and simplified parcel and LTL shipment processing, which turns into reduced shipping costs and overhead. We get to eliminate duplicate data entries to external systems through that. That's my face. I'm Jason Chung, Technical Services Manager at NMB Solutions. I've been with NMB for a little over 5 years. Mehmet Pamuk is Professional Services Manager at NMB Solutions, and he will be the main speaker and the driver for this demo session. And we have Steve Williamson, Director of Solutions from BlueJay Solutions, to talk a little bit about what's BlueJay and what's the big picture here. So just a little bit about NMB Solutions. We're an ISV partner specialized in multi-carrier parcel and LTL integration. We're founded in 1998 as the first Exaptivar in Canada. So today, well, this year is our 20th anniversary, so a big milestone for our company. We've been providing ISV solutions since 2005. The ship carrier framework was bought by Microsoft and integrated to AX 2009 and up. Our packing workbench was first released for AX4. We've developed the Level 200 R3 TMS instructional documentation for Microsoft. We've entered into a strategic partnership with BlueJay Solutions in 2017. And we've been a member of AXUG since 2007. So that being said, I turn the mic off to Steve Williamson to talk about BlueJay.
Thanks, Jason. And I'll take just a couple minutes like Jason and just give you a little introduction into BlueJay and specifically the engine that is being leveraged that Mehmet will show you. And one of the important things that you'll find as you go through it is that truly it is just that the solution is meant to be driven as an engine. So it's workflows that are right out of the D365 platform. So just to step back and talk a little bit about BlueJay, we are a global company with offices throughout the world. So our North American offices are in Holland, Michigan, and just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, in Chelmsford. We have been around for a long time in the industry. So when you look at transportation solutions, you really will know the BlueJay brand. There are product names that are out there with various ships in them, clipper ships and flagships and K-ships that have been around for decades in the marketplace. Thanks, Jason. Go ahead. So one of the key areas that the transportation solution or the parcel solution is part of is our global trade network. We're really illustrating a few areas of functionality with our partnership with NMB, and they'll be going over those today when they're talking about things like Parcel and LTL, which will focus in on specifically our transportation family. But in general, if you look across our platform, we are very strong in other areas of the market in customs brokerage and visibility areas. Thanks, Jason. If you take a little snapshot and look at us from a numbers perspective, really our focus in today's conversation will be all around parcel. And the fact of the platform that you're looking at ships a large amount of transactions globally. It's actually gone up quite a bit from 2.5. It's probably closer to 3 billion packages that annually are shipped on the platform that would be and is leveraged by NMB. So you can feel very confident that whatever volume that you're thinking about pushing or whatever carriers that you're thinking about pushing through the solution, feel confident that it can be supported. Thanks, Jason. When we designed the global trade network and some of those numbers that we were just talking about, we had our design principles that are outlined here, and there are 8 of them that you can read from here. Really 2 of them we wanted to just quickly illustrate that were important for our partnership with NMB, which is the autonomous consumption. Essentially use what you want when it comes to the global trade network. So leverage the parcel solution for your LTL and parcel shipping. We're going to talk later on, I think, around international shipping, some of the capabilities around there. But you could also get into things like compliance screening and other areas of it. And then it's all about minimizing the human intervention. As I described a few seconds ago when I was talking about the use of the application and the fact that it's really all about making sure that you're maximizing the use of D365 and not being asked to go into other screens outside of D365. And that's the important piece here. It's really about automating, staying behind the scenes, and delivering the things that you're expecting when it comes to parcel shipping, whether that's a Canada Post label or whether that's a UPS label. You can feel confident that those can pop out without having to go into the actual screens for execution of any types of shipments. Thanks, Jason. The focus today I described was really about transportation and the capabilities of our transportation solution. So what's being illustrated is really the parcel and LTL capabilities, as Jason outlined, and that's part of our transportation family, which is within our parcel platform. Okay. And then just a couple more quick slides. Just when you're thinking about the parcel solution, some of this may be apparent, some may not. It is an enterprise solution. So what does that mean? That means that you can support locations globally. So if you're looking for something to be shipping from, let's say, Canada or from the United States, you can support that. But maybe you're also looking to be shipping from Australia or shipping from Singapore. The same platform can support you there. As I also described when I was talking about high volume, you can feel confident that the solution can support whether it's hundreds a day, thousands a day, or tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands a day. The platform can expand as needed and work in the workflows that you're looking for in D365. And then when it comes to other things, carriers and rules and onboarding those, there are tool sets. So Jason, if you want to jump to the last slide here, when we think of tool sets, we can think of functionality like the business rules module. We call these key areas of functionality when we're talking about the solution. We do recognize that any solution you're probably looking at can produce labels or has the ability to have some shopping capabilities. And you're going to see some of this today in the demo. But the flexibility that we have around it is what we think differentiates the product even more than being embedded as it is with the robust applications that we have for D365. But it is important to note that you can go beyond that and do things like business rules and build things that are right in that engine that allow you to enforce your rules or your customers' rules in regards to the execution of shipments. So with that, I think at this point, we're going to turn it back to Jason to go over one other slide, and then we'll jump into the demo.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, so the agenda is basically we're going to go through a quick overview of Parcel for 365. So just look at the menus, look at a couple of the screens, kind of describe what it's all about so that you're not feeling lost for the rest of these demos. And then we just go directly into some demonstration of shipments. So we'll go through some Parcel domestic, Parcel international, LTL domestic, third-party, blind shipment, collect, hazmat shipments, markup, markdown, and there are so many other features that we'd like to be able to showcase to you guys, but there's not sufficient time. So we do have a last slide that kind of covers other features that the product does that we could not demonstrate today. Again, like Laura had mentioned, I'll be screening the chat. Hopefully I can answer some of those through the chat. Some that are pertinent to the demo, I might raise as a voiced question to either Mehmet or Steve. So with that being said, I hand it over now to Mehmet to start the actual demo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jason and Steve. So let me share my screen quickly. Okay, so basically, before starting our demo, I would like to go through a quick overview, and that will help us to understand our solution and also make sure that some of the screens can be a bit cumbersome, but if we go into details, we'll see that you will understand this better before we start the demo process. Okay, so let's look into some of our screens. So we have a shipping management module in the system. This is a basically built-in standard D365 module, and it is a standard D365 menu look and feel environment. And we're going to go through some of the setup and parameters and also some of the forms that we currently use. And just to give you an idea, we have like lots of information. It's a parameter-driven system. It's configurable to your business process. So let's look at the shipping parameters quickly. So as I mentioned, we have like really a configurable system, and as soon as it's configured, it will fit into your business process, and it will run smoothly in your environment. We have a couple of other forms that I would like to show before starting the demo. This is our basic picked orders grid. This is going to show you the all orders. We have different format or filters. We can only show you the orders that needs to be packed, which are picked, or whether they are shipped. Or in this screen, we can see all of these in one screen. So this handling status is usually the picking status. As soon as it's picked, it doesn't need to be registered. It will fill into this area, and the packer will be able to see this information. Whether this is shipped or journal posted, that means it's shipped through our packing workbench, and whether it's posted through the process. So we can go into different orders, picking routes, and consolidation screens. But the second piece I would like to show you is our packing workbench. This is our main form that all the packing stations use. This is also touchscreen enabled for manufacturing plants. If they need to use a touchscreen, it's available to use. So it has like 4 quadrants. The first one, shipping lane, is the main shipping information. Shipping lane information, it's talking about the shipment header basically. We have different information about the shipment, your delivery information, your carrier, whether it's a blind shipment option or any delivery confirmation for special process, and also like hazmat information as well. The second form displays the items that needs to be packed for this shipment. The top right box is about the boxes. So how many boxes do we have? And the bottom corner will talk about, also display you which items are packed into those boxes, and it will show you the details. So having said that, so what I'm gonna focus on, I will go back to my slide first and talk about our first scenario before going into. Basically, what I'm gonna show you in the first scenario is a domestic parcel shipment. It will be a simple single box shipment. I have already created multiple sales orders in the system, and during this process, I'm going to show you how I can consolidate those orders, multiple orders, into one single shipment for simplifying process or cost saving, so I can send in single box. And I will also show you the rate shopping. We have an option to do rate shopping from sales orders or sales quotation screen. And later we are going to go into packing workbench. We will do the packing and processing as well. Okay, so let's go into our environment. And let's go back to our sales orders first. As I mentioned, I've created some demo sales orders in the system. So let's look at one of them here. So this is going to be a domestic order. This one has only one item. I will show you our rate shopping capabilities first. That can be either done on the packing workbench after you create all the packages, or you can do rate shopping through from the sales screen. This is basically gives flexibility to customer service reps to quote your customers on the fly while they're on the phone, what the actual shipping cost will be, so they can play with different types of services, and they can filter by what kind of rates they are looking for. For example, they can only look for international LTL, or in this case, I'm going to just go in domestic. They have the option to do like Saturday shipment deliveries as well. The item information has the weights, but it can be overridden. Same thing with the packages, can be coming as a default boxes. But again, with the dimensional option, you have the option to enter, and it will rate according to those parameters. As soon as we get the rate, we will see, depending on what has been configured in your system, you will see different rates. For example, in this case, we have FedEx and UPS, different services, ground economy, second day, or like 3-day select. It will give you the rates, also the delivery dates for transit in time, depending on your carrier and carrier service. If they provide the transit in time information, they will display it to you. So while your customer representative on the phone, they can also quote that it will be available to deliver to your customer at this date if they choose a specific shipment. For some of the orders, carrier services, if this is not available for this shipment, for example, this is international shipment service code, so it says this service is not valid for destination, so it will not rate you anything. The option is you can select a certain rate, and it will rate stamp on sales order, and it will be coded to your customer, or you can leave this process to packing workbench. So let's go back to our orders and do some processing. So in this order, I'm going to show you a consolidation process first. as I mentioned, we have like 3 different orders that I've created. 15, 24 is one of them, 25 and 26. So this is going to the same customer, and I know that this is going to be the same shipment. It's the same mode of delivery. It's going to go through the same carrier. So I decided to do a consolidation. So it's easy as selecting which orders you would like to consolidate. We also have a separate screen where you can do more detailed consolidation. But in this case, I just select manually, and it will display which orders will be consolidated, but the item numbers into the coming into the display. And as soon as I just process, it will be automatically consolidated. So here, what I'm going to do here, so let me refresh my screen for this order. So as you see, the shipment information has changed. So it consolidated all those 3 orders into one single shipment. If I look into our packing workbench, you will see that all those 3 orders is appearing here under one single shipment. Okay, so everything is perfect so far. The next process is like doing the packaging. For this scenario, I'm going to pack all. Pack all functionality is a single click. It creates one box, default box, and then puts all the items to be packed into one box and then displays what's in that. We have the information, which carrier it's going to be go to. It's a FedEx Ground, and we can just basically at this time ready for our shipment. So let's look at the process. We can have a process. Shipment process is a process that just communicates to the engine, BlueJ engine, and also that creates the carrier labels, prints those labels automatically to your label printers. In this case, we are going to just display to screen for demo purposes, and we'll bring all the tracking information charges into the environment. So this is our label printed for this shipment. So let's look at what has happened in this process. If you look into details, what is happening, so it's already shipped at this date, and you would like to get more information, like it's done through FedEx. This is their tracking number, this is the build rate. If you want to see the shipping charges, you can see there's a freight and fuel surcharge only, and all the information is available to see. So let's assume that there was a problem, and let's say the weight was not correct, so they made a mistake, or in some cases they missed the delivery truck for one of the carrier, but they have to go through a different carrier. So in this case, I would like to just void this shipment. Voiding is deleting the tracking number, so it will not manifest it. And now it's open for my shipment to process after I fix my issues. So if there's a scale integration done, I can hook up my scale and automatically get the weight. In this case, I'll enter manually. Instead of like 46, I'm entering the 50 weight. And for this example, let's say I'm going to just change my carrier to UPS instead of like FedEx. And I will also add additional information, like let's say I'll add additional adult signature option for my shipment. Now I'm going to process my shipment. In this case, I'm going to do ship and post. So ship and post process is a more detailed process. It will still do the connection, get labels printed. Also in the D365 environment, it will post the packing slip. So we have like 3 different packing slips. So if you want to automate this through this process, it will again print the label, but also it will post packing slips for you. And you will see the packing slip is posted 1, 2, and 3. So basically we have all those 3 different orders. Those are already posted in the system. And if you want to see more detailed information, again, now it's UPS now. The shipping charges, again, we have additional delivery confirmation charge, fuel, and If you look at like apportionment charges, this will also give you more detail. Since this is a order of 3 and with multiple lines, we do proportional distribution of those charges into those different orders. So it will be done based on order, how it's packed together or separately, and it will distribute those charges into your shipment. So if you look at the tracking, you will see the UPS tracking numbers. You can go to the UPS website directly to track your shipment as well. So and also another thing that I have to mention, you should be able to see what has been done on this order. For example, we voided this package. It was a FedEx. Now the new one is a separate UPS package. So you have all the information is handy for you to review later. Okay, so this is our basically first scenario. And for the second scenario, I'll go back to my screen and look into my scenario. It will be in international shipments, and we are going to do multi-box shipment in this process. And it's going to be a US to Canada shipment. We are going to look into declared value insurance options when we send internationally. And again, we will send process the shipment. We'll also look at some of the compliant documentation that we are offering for international shipments. Okay, so this for this international order, I have created an order, I think 1529. So this is my order going to Maple Company to US to Canada. So let's look into this specific order. We have one single sales order and with 2 different items. I'm going to pack differently in this case. I'll create multiple packs. So if I pack all what it did before, it put everything into one box. But we have an option, you can remove individual items, or you can remove the boxes. Let's say remove this, and then we would like to do a single packing process. Single packing process allows you to more detailed screen. It will allow you how many you want to pack into boxes. And also, depending on the type of item, it might be a serialized batch. You can enter all those tracking number information or like serialized information. It will automatically track in the system for you. So we have created the first one. The second one is still in the packing status. So I'm going to create a new box. So I create a new box and I pack the rest of it into my second box. So if I look, the first one has D001 item and the second one is D002. Everything is done. So I am basically ready to ship. But before shipping, I would like to show you that we are bringing declared value option. It's a parameter driven. Depending on your business process, we can bring the cost price or your sales price or a fixed price depending on how you're sending and how you want to incur some custom charges. It will display the declared value, and if you would like to add some insurance on top of it, we have options to request or calculate options. So let's request an insurance. So in this case, we are adding insurance because it's important item that we are sending, and let's process this shipment again. Okay, so this is processing the shipment. Since this is an international order, it will determine the destination, and it will automatically generate some of the documentation. We have the international label, and we also have a certificate of origin. We also have like commercial invoice printed. We'll come to this a bit later. We have commercial invoice, and the label is being printed as well. On top of this, in terms of documentation, we also offer additional documentation. So like this shipment is going to Canada, we have Canada Customs invoice, certificate of origin, commercial invoice, shipper letter of instructions, and NAFTA agreement. So let's look at these couple of them, how it looks. So it creates those PDF for you, automatically updates all the shipment information. Basically, it's ready for your driver to handle this for your customs papers. And let's look at another, I say, shipper letter of instructions as well. This is another document that we provide out of the box. So it's, again, shipper letter of instructions will be printed. So it will cover most of your export documentation, compliant documentation, and it will be easy. It can be automatically generated for you, but as soon as you process your shipment, all your documentation will be ready for you at the same time. So this is our second scenario. So let's quickly look into our third scenario. So our third scenario will be LTL domestic shipment. Again, this will be a multi-box, multi-pallet shipment. We are going to use additional functionality for packing. We have a quick pack functionality. I'm going to show you how the automated containerization process works in the advanced warehousing system. We're going to do quick pallets. We'll do rate shopping from the rate route workbench, and we'll process the orders as well. Okay, so this order is, I created 1535. So let's quickly look at one of the orders here, 1535. Okay, it's here. Okay. On this order, I have again, two items. We have processed this through the work. The work process has been done. So the picking process has been completed. So we can just double check that everything is closed. So we have the close work here. So it's perfect. So we can close this screen. Now, I'm going to go into our packing workbench directly from our sales order. And I'm going to show the quick pack functionality. Quick pack functionality is a configuration that you can define what is your quantity per box for this item. So in this case, it's already coming as a 3 per box. So it will create 2 boxes for this item. And the second item will be 4 in a box. It will create 5 total boxes for my shipment. You can manually override this, but if you don't want to change it, you can just use this information and pack. It will automatically create your boxes, and also, as you see, the containers will be created as well. It will display, it will put all those items automatically into your boxes. Creating pallets is also the easy process. We have manual process or automated process. You can select individual boxes and create pallets, or you can also use a quick pallet functionality, which is a similar system that you would like to use certain pallets, default pallets, and it will create into your boxes, will be into your pallets. So if you use this one, you will see the pallet information is assigned. Just to look what has happened here, the first pallet will have all those 3 boxes, the second one has 3, and the third pallet will have the rest of the boxes, which is only 1. On the bottom corner, you will be able to see what's your box sizes. And on the top, you will see your pallet sizes, as well as your NMFC codes, LTL classes are all assigned for your shipment. The other option that we offer, you can do rate shopping from the packing workbench as well. So as soon as we do the rate shopping, we bring all those containers information, the packing information, into the rate shopping as well. So when you do rate shopping, it will know that what's the exact weight, what's the exact pallet size, or box numbers, how many boxes you have. So it will give you the very accurate number when you do rate shopping. As you see, this is yellow freight will be our carrier. You will have only 100 bucks for LTL. This is a great cost saving for you. So I'm just going to choose this carrier, and the route has been assigned, so I can close the screen. and go back to my packing workbench.
Excuse me, Mehmet, can you hear me?
Yes.
We have a question from Brent Levenji asking, does this work with warehouse-enabled items?
Warehouse-enabled items? Can you explain a bit more?
I'm sorry, for the moment, that's all I have.
Okay.
I'll get more details.
Okay. What I will do, I will leave this question to the end. If you can get more information, I will definitely help you on that one. Okay. So we have all the information, the pallet information ready. So let's process this in shipment. So this is an LTL shipment. So as soon as we create this, the label, LTL label will be generated. And as you see, the pro numbers will be generated as well. And the bill of lading will be printed. We have like 3 pallets, 7 boxes, everything is there. And I forgot to mention it, but for some carriers, if your LTL carrier is not a big one and they don't provide automated pro numbers, you have the option to assign pro numbers manually or enter your trailer information, seal information in the system manually. Then it will send the shipment accordingly. But in our case, what we have done, we have brought in the carrier, all the information automatically from your LTL carrier. So in the shipping information, you'll be able to see that the pro number is generated automatically for this one. Okay, so now what I'm gonna show you is another scenario. And let me go back to my slide just to review what I'm going to talk about. So I'll just come to markup, markdown, freight charges a little bit later. I will talk about third-party blind shipment and collect shipments a little bit. And basically, this is an important feature as well. Some customers do a lot of like collect shipment, third-party shipment. Also, they also provide like blind shipment, which is a kind of drop shipment directly from their suppliers to their customers, and they would like to just hide their supplier information on the label. That's how we process the information. So let's go to one of the orders in the system. Again, it's going to be 1535, I believe, my order. 1531. Okay. Okay, so basically this shipment, if you look at this, it's going to Illinois, Barrington, but we decided that it's going to be a third-party shipping going to Portsmouth. And the carrier account numbers are automated, brought into the system either from the setup table or address table. So when you create your shipment third party, the carrier account number that we provide will be built for this shipment. So on top of it, what we can offer, as we were mentioning, the blind shipment, if you choose to have a separate shipment address printed instead of your where exactly it's coming from or shipping from, you have the option to select a blind shipment address defined on your customer master. Let's say we're going to use a separate New York address as my blind shipment address. And I'm going to just pack this quickly just for the processing and just to show you how the labels will look like and how the charges will show as a zero cost here. So let's look at the zoom in somewhat. For example, here, instead of the actual shipment location, we are sending the blind shipment address that you choose in the system. It can be on sales order or it can be done on the packing workbench, and it will print automatically on your labels. And the second piece is talking about the charges. Since this is a collect or third party, or it can be a collect as well, you will have no charges coming into the system, and your carrier will bill the third party as a payee in this case. Okay, so how are we doing in time-wise? I think we have a good 20 minutes right now. So I'm going to go into some of the functionality around Hazmat, and then after that I will talk about the invoicing quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time, but I have to mention that we have a Hazmat module that we are proud of, and I would like to show the capabilities as well. For this order, I have a 33, which is an international shipment, but in this sales order, I combined a couple of items. Currently, I have 3 different items. Some of them are Hazmat items, some of them are not. So I will pack first into individual boxes, so I can also show you some of the Hazmat functionality. So let's start with the first one and pack this. The first one, and let's create 2 more boxes in the system. And for the second one, I'm going to use the second item. And the third is going to be my last one. So before I move into the Hazmat piece, so I would like to show you that this is a Hazmat enabled shipment. So as soon as some of the items in this shipment, as soon as one of them is a Hazmat item defined, it will recognize this, and it will recognize the type of regulation. So we do support like 49 CFR ground shipments, IATA air shipments, IMO as well, and we can define this in the master Hazmat data, different UN numbers, and all the information for shipment level information, we have like box level information, and the item level information is ready for the Hazmat. And for example, Hazmat shipment level, you will only see certain defaults, which is coming your parameter or your location parameters. You're always using certain type of signatory and who is the responsible party. You can overwrite this on the shipment. On the box level, you can have package level detailed information, like whether it's all in pack 1, the quantity, other pack, the packaging groups. And if you look at the details on the item level, you will see the first box is a Hazmat item. The second one is Hazmat enabled node, because we know that this is a Hazmat item, so there's no Hazmat information. And the third one is also a Hazmat item. So if you look at some of those on the item level, we try to populate all the information from the parameters, but in some cases, you want to just see and overwrite some of the information. For example, in this case, let's say the Hazmat item has to be packaged in an aluminum box. Let's say there's for packing instructions, we are going to use a IATA specific packing instructions. You can save this, and if you would like to update those information for each, you can do that. Or as I said, this can come automatically from your master data, which I'm going to quickly show you a little bit later. But as you see, the packing process is not different. It's everything is like automatically bringing it into this packing workbench. We offer additional options for Hazmat team if they need to view and make sure everything is working okay or the data is correct before the shipment is processed. They have the option to view and then update the information. So if you process this shipment, what we are going to see is the labels. The labels will have additional Hazmat information. And secondary, we need to provide Hazmat declaration forms. Depending on the type of shipment, it can be Hazmat declaration for IATA, dangerous goods, or it can be cross-border information or a ground shipment declaration forms. So this is an international order, so we print those documentation, but let's look at one of those labels again, just quickly, what options, what information we are printing. Okay, so basically this is, if I can make it a bit bigger, on the bottom you will see the dangerous goods data. That's the number, it's a UN number, it's a printing ink we are sending, and it's an air shipment, it's reported on the label. Additionally, we also offer hazmat declaration forms, also cross-border, all the hazmat labels as well. So let's look at one of these. This is a hazmat declaration form. Depending on the type of shipment, whether it's I-8F or CFR. So let's make this a PDF so it will be easier to read. Okay. So it's a shipper declaration for dangerous goods. It will print all the shipment information, and it will display the format that your carrier requires for hazmat shipment. And it will be displayed here, and it will be ready for your driver to get that information. And it's also similar in terms of our cross-border declaration or regular ground shipment declaration. We have similar information where we process or we print this into pre-printed candy stripe labels where you can see all those information that can be put on the boxes for the dangerous goods. So we provide these, and as soon as your shipment is done, those available documentation are ready for you to print along with your shipment. And finally, I would like to just mention that we also offer our customers an ability to bill all those freight charges that they incur for their shipments. Some customers, they eat the cost, but some would like to do some markdown, depending on their configuration. So we offer a rules table that you can define. It can be by ground transportation type, destination, carrier, invoice account. You can define whether you want to charge your customers based on net or list price, or you want like certain percentages, flat rates, or amounts, depending on the type of charge. You have core charges, you have handling, you have fuel, and this, and also ancillary charges. So it will be like 4 different types you can define, and you can choose whether to, for example, eat the handling cost, but you can charge additional percentages on the core charges to your customer. So just to make additional profit or cover the cost of your shipment. This is what we have been providing, and this is generating at the invoice stage. As soon as you create your invoices, all those freight charges are applied as a regular charges, standard charges in the D365, and then attached to your invoice journal as a charge. And you'll be able to see as a additional charge on your invoice. And before I finish my presentation, I would like to just quickly go through what other features we offer. We have AES filing, especially for automated export system. It retrieves the IPN number from Census portal within seconds, and it prints on your labels, especially for customers doing international shipments over 2,500. This is a requirement, whether they do it through their brokers or they do it within our system automatically. This is an option we are offering. We have desktop shipping, transfer orders, sales quotation screens. We have shipping consolidation wizards, and enhanced delivery options like certified signature options. We also integrate to peripheral devices, scales and scanners, and printers. And having said that, I know this is a very fast-paced demo. If you would like additional information, please feel free to reach us, either myself or Cheryl from BlueJ, or if you are at the summit, you can just visit us, and we are happy to do a private demo as well. Thank you very much.
So Mehmet, before we let everybody go, there have been a whole bunch of questions coming in through private requests over to Laura. Laura's been trying to feed them to me. I've been trying to figure out what's the best way to communicate them. But being that we had a couple of minutes going into the end of this demo, I thought that we'd just keep some of these for the end. So I'll just shoot them out to you. Are you okay with that, Mehmet?
Sure.
Okay, so from Pascal Larouche, can BlueJay process both publish rates to the customer invoice and accrue to the discounted rate freight bill?
Yes, the answer is yes. So we have accrual process, and depending on how the cost price is coming into your system from BlueJay environment, and we can create accrual journal automatically in the system, and we basically, maybe I can just quickly show you so everyone is aware of what we are talking about. Maybe this one has been done. So if I look at one of the orders here, and if this is already, I think packing slip is posted. So if you look at the packing slip, we'll be able to see the charges here. Also, we create accrual journals. So you'll be able to see the accrual journals automatically posted in the background based on your cost. And BlueJay offers list price or your contracted rates as well. So if you choose to have contracted rates, you can bill your customer as an option, whether it's based on your contracted rates or your cost price. It's an option, and it's a configuration in your system.
Okay, I have another question from Tammy McNabb. For small packages carriers like FedEx, UPS, are the labels generated by the carrier and sent over as an image, or is the label generated from within 365 using reporting functionality?
So the label is automatically printed to your label printer from BlueJay, but we also bring this as an image to your environment in the D365. And we also bring the ZPL code for zebra code if you want to see, or if you want to just change some of, but for carrier labels, we don't suggest this because these are certified labels. But to answer your question, automatically printed from BlueJay, but the image is also stored in the system.
Okay, so we have another question, which is from Pascal. How are check digits of pro numbers calculated? Not all carriers use the same algorithm. So if I can take that one, essentially there are canned formats for the pro numbers that can be easily configured for the LTL carriers. But in a case where the algorithm would be more complex than what the canned formats would offer, there's also the ability to make very complex algorithms using JScript. I have another question here from Tammy. I'm not sure if this one was demonstrated, Mehmet. Can bills of lading be printed for an LTL shipment instead of a label?
Bill of lading can be printed. Yeah, it does. It does automatically print it. And right now we are bringing to screen. But again, we also use standard print management system. And depending on the user, we can define the print management options for individual documentation that we provide. And you can just use standard print management. You can define to be printed automatically to your printers. Depending on which document you choose, it will do so.
All right. I have another one from Larry Palomo asking, can parameters such as residential delivery or adult signature required be entered as sales order entry, then passed through the system automatically?
That's correct. So those information, especially for residential information, is coming from the address of the customer. As soon as you create your sales order, those information, whether it's a blind shipment, residential, third party, all the information resides on sales order, and it can be modified, and it will pass through packing workbench. And what was the second, or adult signature? And those also can be managed on the sales order line level. You can also default certain items that if you are using certain customers, certain items always needs a signature or certified option. You can define it, and it will automatically load into your sales order. So the packer doesn't need to modify anything. It will automatically process this shipment as an option defined on your order. Any other questions?
I have a question here about what about shipments containing hazardous products? What about UN classifications?
Okay, so UN classification, basically we haven't gone into details of the hazmat master data, but again, I can quickly show you. So this is how the master data is set up in the system. So depending on what kind of UN numbers you are shipping, you define those UN numbers, your proper shipping name, their chemical names, their classes, regulation, and we define different, and like 49 CFR or IATA or IMO or DOT, you can define what is the requirement or what's the properties for this individual regulation, and it can be different for individual regulation, and it can be different data. And then what we do here, we get this information and then assign those into items. And as soon as those are assigned, it will define this item is associated with this specific UN number, the hazardous code, and it will also have some of the attributes that you can define in the system, which is like unlimited attributes depending on your business process. It can be regulation, classification, packaging, labeling type, or a miscellaneous type. For example, for packaging, I can put like separation required. It's a mandatory to see each time the packers are doing this, they want to see this, the mandatory field, they can just view those information. It will be additional information to the packers, how they would like to process their hazmat shipments. So, but again, in terms of defining those, we have all the master data resides in D365 environment, and those are like maintained by certified hazmat personnel.
Okay, so I guess we have time for one last question. I'm sorry, there are many questions. So questions that haven't been answered, we'll be able to review them offline and then reach out to you and answer those one-on-one. Again, like we had mentioned, there's also a possibility for you to reach out to us. We can schedule like a personalized demo or discussion around your concerns. Or if you guys are going to Phoenix, Arizona for the XUG Summit, then please be sure to stop by our booth. So the last question is, what if this is a customer upgrading from a previous version to 365FO, but is using WMS, does not want to go into advanced warehousing? Is there an option for them?
Yes, we offer both. If the customer would like to utilize existing advanced warehousing functionality, yes, they can. Or if they choose not to, we have also options for WMS and WHS. So basic WMS process is much simpler process, but in terms of the rich functionality, we offer the same functionality in both WMS, the old version of shipments, as well as the advanced warehousing system. So we do have solution for both. But in terms of the look, it's the same look and feel, but in the background, it updates additional tables.
Okay. I guess that kind of covers it. Wow. This was pretty cool webinar. Thank you very much for everyone for your participation. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mehmet. Thank you, Laura.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks to MS Dynamics World for hosting.
Happy to. I'm going to jump in here too. We did record today's session, Jason, so I'll just let everybody know that we will be following up with a link to the recording of the session. And for those of you, as Jason mentioned, that you didn't get your question answered, they will we'll make sure that they receive a transcript of the chat so they can respond to you individually and answer any questions you might have and follow up on that. So yes, thanks to all of you very much for your time today, to the presenters, thanks, and also to all of the attendees, thanks for your participation and interest. And with that, we'll wrap things up. Have a great day, everybody.
All right, thanks.